Premiership season, the regular season, folks, is done. We look forward to the semi-finals now, but there was one last round. A bunch of high-scoring games, man. When 20 points is the biggest score, the smallest score from a winning team. All the rest are like 60, 50, 40 points. They just let loose in this final round, didn't they? All the home teams getting the job done. We'll go through some key events and stats and then see how the semi-finals are lining up. You guys can let me know your thoughts. The first one, I think all these games were played at the same time, but the first one, Exeter and Quins. Exeter knew they weren't going to make the semi-finals, but they still wanted to go out of the season with a bang, and they did that over Quins, who were already kind of guaranteed that third spot. 47-38, man, that's a big old scoreline. Some pretty noteworthy tries for both sides. I mean, Evans' one to open the scoring is one where the Exeter boys just shouldn't be letting the ball bounce. Hogg ended up getting one, plus he ended up getting an assist as well. The liner try is maybe the try of the game because Smith's on his own goal line and just does that little jinking step of his and then sets up liner to go kind of length of the field. But ultimately the Exeter guys, a few from close range. Johnny Gray got one. Absolute power. They capitalised when Simmons got yellow carded for a bit of aggro. And to be fair, Dombrat put a kick through for a try as well. So yeah, there was some seriously crazy tries in this game. It was kind of full of entertainment. Hogg's dummy for his one was pretty good, but yeah, man, that's a value for money game if you're looking for points per minute. So Exeter finished 7th, which is disappointing all things considered, but as I said, good to go out with a bang. And Quins finish 3rd. They will be away to Sharsies in their semi-final. They're a fun team to watch even when they go down. The Exeter boys had more run meters, more possession, more territory, more clean breaks, although the clean breaks was 11-9 and the possession was 64-36. So Quins actually doing a decent amount with what little ball they had. Exeter's tackling percentage was 80, which is pretty low, which is maybe explains the Quins boys able to get tries when they did have a wee bit of ball. But yeah, man, Hogg a try, 2 try assists, 3 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten. Not a bad shift from the Scottish international. Esterhazen, 19 tackle attempts, makes 18, which is the top man for the game, but 3 turnovers conceded. He won't be too happy with that. But that's the season done for the Chiefs. And we see how Quins go in the knockout stages. Gloucester against Sari's B team, really. Gloucester needed to get a win and hope that other events went their way. They got the win, but unfortunately for them, 5th is as high as they could get. Their maul powers over for about 3 tries in this one, which is maybe to be expected. I'm assuming Saris are looking to the semi-final, hence resting the majority of their big guns. Singleton gets a couple. Geordie Reid goes through a nice little gap for another Thorley's got some gas. Carreras as well. Lewis Rees-Zammit gets one. I think it was Geordie Reid that put a kick through for him as well. It's all these loose forwards putting kicks through. The only try for Saris is through Max Malins, who becomes the single top try scorer for the competition. So the only guy who... basically, if any one guy was going to get a try, it had to be Malins, didn't it, for Saris? And, he got that job done. So, with McGuigan not getting a try for Newcastle, that means that honour goes to Malins on his own. But, 54-7 at the end of the day is a bit of a drubbing. Clean breaks, 14-3. Offloads, 18-9. Turnovers conceded, Saris 21-15. So, it was a bit of a hodgepodge kind of looking Saris team, to be fair. It's hard to have the same depth, once you take out the majority of the kind of starting guys. Carreras, 132 metres, 2 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten, not bad. Lazowski makes 13 from 15 tackles in a losing shift. But Saris, 2nd spot for them. They'll host Quins, and Gloucester, 5th, is just not quite good enough. They'll rue a few dropped results a few weeks ago. So, 5th. Leicester over Wasps, the only kind of close-ish game of the bunch. I think Wasps were fighting for a Champions Cup spot. Not to be. 20-10 loss at Welford Road. Not a heck of a lot of highlights in this one. I only saw the highlights. Porter goes through the Wasps line like a hot knife through butter for the first one. That was a pretty nicely worked try. 7-0. 7-3 at halftime with the Wasps guys knocking over a penalty. But second half, Leicester took some proper patience, seemingly, to work their second try through Stewart out on the wing. It took some good hands. And then Porter on Wasps side managed just to get one back. But yeah, ultimately, the coast-to-coast try was the highlight of the game for Wasps. But yeah, it was a pretty quiet one, seemingly. But, I mean, good enough for Leicester. They finished top of the log. So I don't think many people saw that coming at the start of the season. They'll face Northampton. And for Wasps, 9th is also probably a wee bit disappointing. Penalties conceded seems to be the killer for them, almost double with 11-6 for the Wasps boys. Also more turnovers conceded. SHAvBRI, 57 run meters and 6 defenders beaten. What a unit. But then the fly half, Charlie Atkinson, had 10 defenders beaten for Wasps. So that is a bit of kind of bonkers stuff. Northampton and Newcastle. This was the first one I watched, actually, of all of them, because I was really keen to see if Northampton would put Newcastle to the sword to ensure that 4th spot. And they did, albeit kind of a bit tit for tat, and that Northampton had a big lead, and then the Newcastle boys did manage a bit of a comeback. Like, it was 36-7, and then it was 36-26. So just threatening to maybe get a bit closer than the Northampton boys would have liked, but from 36-26, you can see it blows out to 65-26. So yeah, kind of flurry of scoring for Northampton, then for Newcastle, then again for Northampton. So Matavesi still got mad skills, kicking through and managing to get a try from loose ball. He's been doing that kind of stuff all season, though. There's a penalty try for the Falcons, which is disappointing for McGuigan, because that would have been his try if Alex Mitchell hadn't infringed. And then Blamire comes on and gets a try pretty much right after he's been substituted. So he could have at least tied Malins if he got either one of those, but not to be. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, and about the only thing Newcastle would have had to shout about for this one. But yeah, man, there was some pretty crazy tries. Freeman gets a hat trick, shows some absolute wheels in this one. Yeah, basically there's a few Northampton boys kind of going out the door at the end of the season, and a few of them put their hands up. Ludlam got one at the end. Skorsan kind of generously gave him one, but yeah, pretty crazy game. Unfortunate for Newcastle had a red card as well. I forgot to mention that. That one was Robinson for kind of a head-to-head one on Dan Bigger, where he just came flying in at the side. It was just maybe one of those ones where you're a bit too upright, need to control your body a bit more. But yeah, certainly once they went down, bang, 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 Newcastle conceded a bunch of points. So yeah, Northampton in at 4th, away to the Tigers in their semi. And for Newcastle, they ended up finishing 12th, which is not last. But yeah, the start of the season would have seen them finish a bit higher, but they just couldn't keep on, and they went on a horrendous losing run, didn't they? Run meters for this one, 730 to 512, so pretty high. Clean breaks 13 to 8, pretty high. Newcastle's tackling percentage 75%, pretty low, and hence conceding 65 points. Furbank and Freeman both with 100 plus run meters. Hodgson, the fly half for Newcastle, had 6 defenders beaten and 2 clean breaks, so not too bad, but yeah, a pretty high scoring game again. The Sharks in Bristol, also pretty high scoring, 42 points to 19. Sharks, another one whose season was kind of done and dusted before this game even took place, but a few guys also putting their hands up, a bit of the old South African influence on the sail shift. Then it's another kind of disappointing one for the Bears, although at least Nathan Hughes came off the bench and proved that he's a bit of a big old man mountain. I mean, Roebuck, Akker van der Merwe's one was bonkers. Like, how did he go through so much traffic and just nobody could bring him down? He is properly the warthog. Visa gets a couple. Dan Dupree gets one. Reed even got one towards the end. And like I mentioned, Nathan Hughes, you can see the timing of his try, 71 and 75 minutes. So he comes on late, but it's one of the few guys to actually, put his hand up in what was a pretty bad effort. I mean, Reed's chip and chase was nice, hard to defend. Vui's pass for Fricker was pretty nice, but not a lot to cheer about from a Bristol point of view. I mean, it was almost like a point a minute for the Sale guys at the start of this one. So they finished 6th. Likewise, they'll be ruining a bad start to the season. Bristol have just had a bad season altogether. Like it every time it threatened to come good, it just didn't. So yeah, really disappointing compared to how they were predicted to go. before the season started. A few guys with big salaries maybe not living up to the billing. Defenders beaten is 20-14 to Sale. Tackling percentage for Bristol's a fair bit lower, like Sale's up almost 90%. Tom Curry, 15 from 16 tackles. Nathan Hughes comes off the bench, 39 metres, 2 defenders beaten, 2 tries. Pretty solid shift, but yeah, nothing doing for them in terms of the playoffs. And the last one, in another season which otherwise might have been a relegation battle, proves not to be. And Worcester come back from behind to beat Bath 43-27. How many leads have Bath had this year where they where they managed to somehow lose it? It's a little bit concerning. I guess we'll see what happens with the new coaching ticket next year. Worcester got the tries underway early with a tap and go, but then Ted Hill gets yellow carded for some kind of cynical play, not releasing, and then Bath are able to punish. Muir gets a quick fire double. Will Stewart gets one where he probably hasn't run that far unopposed any time, a proper good props try. But, I mean, what was Bath's lead? Like 27-17? Or was it more? I know it was a pretty decent lead. But, yeah, Duan van der Merwe managed to get involved. Smith for Worcester was looking pretty good. Shilcock ends up getting 3 tries, which is not a bad shift in that second half. Leading that comeback, Duan van der Merwe, couple of try assists, even if he doesn't get on the board himself. Yules with another bloody high tackle. Yellow carded this time. Maybe lucky not to get red. I think in Super Rugby down here with a 20-minute red card, that might have been a red. But yeah, ultimately, Bath's disappointing season comes to a disappointing conclusion. And Worcester, maybe there's reason to be optimistic under them under Steve Diamond. We will have to wait and see how the recruitments and whatnot go. I do feel like Bath have got a better squad on paper than what we're seeing in their performances, that's for sure. But as I said, new coach for them under Van Graan next year, so we'll see how that goes as well. Run meters 405 to 380, that's pretty close. Clean breaks 9 to 6, so Worcester edge that. Turnovers conceded is actually pretty low, 6-9 with Bath having 9. Shilcock, man, 104 run meters, 4 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten, 3 tries. Tidy day at the office. Underhill makes 14 from 15, but it's last place for Bath, 13th, and Worcester finished the season in 11th. London Irish obviously didn't play. They finished the season on the bye. Relegation back next year, so that maybe makes things a wee bit more interesting at the foot of the table. But we still look forward to seeing the final 4 teams go at it. Harlequins and Saracens, and then Leicester and Northampton. That'll be pretty fascinating. And then the final. But yeah, who are you guys backing? Who do you reckon's the favourite? Is it Leicester? Is it Saracens once they bring their big guns back? Or can you see either Quins with their kind of electric attack or 65-point Northampton getting an upset in one of the semis? You guys have any thoughts? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.